Today's message from Dr. Christian Sorensen was recorded March 3rd, 2019, and it's titled, Healing Takes Place in the Present, subtitled, My Good Is Now. And today we welcome back the spirit, talent, and voice of our very special guest and musical artist, Ray Davis, who can be found on Facebook or on his website. And come visit us on our website at seasidecenter.org, and you can always join us in Encinitas, California on a Sunday sometime, where we always have great music, a spirited message, and a joyful, loving, vibrant community that await you.
Well, when you walked in here, I'm sure you were excited to see our guest artist here today. Most of you know him. Yes. If you don't, you are in for such a treat because he is just a phenomenal singer, songwriter, musician, actor, style icon, and he's part microbiome, part human, just all good things and one fantastic artist. Please give it up for Ray Davis.
Good morning, Seaside. Everybody okay? Happy? Yeah. It's a good day. It's a beautiful day. So this song is called Mine the Moment. Mine the Moment. And it begins with a story of two people who really would love to get together. But one of them is too busy thinking about things in the past, and the other's too busy thinking about things in the future. They never quite meet in the moment. So this is called Mine the Moment. Here's the chorus. Maybe we'll all forget the future. Maybe we'll all forgive the past. Maybe we'll learn to mine the moment. It's all we ever have. She was a waitress waiting and all alone. She remembered like it was yesterday the traveling man from 2 years ago. 2 years of hoping, of coping with fantasy. If he's the one for me. While she cultivates her mystery and he ruminates in history, the love they seek is beyond both space and time. Maybe we'll all forget the future. Maybe we'll all forgive the past. Maybe we'll learn to mind the moment. It's all we got for nothing. Here comes a worry, there goes my best regret. Will it be or is it not to be? Why must I always remember the thing that I'd rather forget? Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever have the kind of life I've always dreamed. Oh, I dreamed a dream. I can't even get past mistakes that I made in my teens. While I'm terrified of my mystery and mortified by my history, the life I seek has been hiding in plain sight. Maybe we'll all forget the future. Maybe we'll all forget the past. Maybe we'll learn to mind the moment. It's all we ever have. The moment is all we ever have. Mind the moment. This here, this now. Oh, to excavate. It's blessings, blessings. Seek and find it in the here and now. All the power, all the blessings, blessings. Can I listen to you like your words are treasure? Can I be with myself? No judgment or measure. Can I forget and forgive? Time. Maybe we'll all forget the future. Maybe we'll all forgive the past. Maybe we'll learn to mind the moments. Maybe we'll all forget the future. Maybe we'll all forgive the past. Maybe we'll learn to mind the moment. It's all we ever had. The moment is all we ever have.
That is Ray Davis. Woo, what a perfect song for today. Oh my goodness, a new song too. Spirit Must the Divine download for today. My goodness, mind the moment. Kind of goes along with the message is healing takes place in the present, in this moment, not in the future, not in the past, like the song said. Ray, that was a great song. Congratulations on that new one. We love you. Woo. So this moment, this present moment is where the healing takes place, and if the sacred is in every moment, then how is it that sometimes I'm not feeling it? It's like it's not going on for me. It's all of a sudden the great what is lacking, it seems like. But it can never be lacking. It is me, Christian, that has moved away from my experience of the moment in the presence of God that can only be felt in the present moment. And as we are in that presence of God, it's where the healing happens. That wonderful flow of life begins to unfold. It begins to express itself. We begin to be that vehicle in which that divine is moving us forward. All of a sudden we become awake because we are in the moment. And when you are awake, the healing can happen. The presence can be felt. And when you're not, you're asleep. And it's not as if you don't have tough times in your life and you're not awake. I mean, you are vital. When you are awake and when you're in the moment and when you're experiencing the presence, you can enter into those challenging times, those difficult times with a vitality that is pure spirit. But you've got to be present. You can't be thinking out there or stuck in the past. You got to bring your spirit alive right now. And I've been reading this book by Mark Nepo, and I found this wonderful little passage he wrote. And it said, a dog loves the world through his nose, a fish through its gills, a bat through its deep sense of blindness, an eagle through its glide, and a human life through its spirit. Whoa, that's how we begin to experience this. And as we bring our spirit to this present moment, we find that's really where it hangs out. That's where the fullness of our being is. And we begin to recognize the sacredness of the moment and the presence of God showing up. And we begin to recognize that everything, everywhere in our life can be a teacher if I am present for it. And that teacher could be a flower, a plant, a pain, a difficulty, a challenge, a crack in the sidewalk, a rock on the ground, a kind word for someone, as well as a nasty word for someone. It can be, anything can become our teacher. And the paradox of all of this human experience is that we can't comprehend it all. Yeah. But yet there's people around you going to tell you, hey, this should be your teacher. You should learn this, and this is the lesson you should have right here. And that's not the way it works either. It works to finding your own teacher and your own message and your own truth, and that can only be found as you sit there, allowing yourself to be available to that presence of God that wants to flow. And my spirit becomes the vessel in which I am able to experience the fullness of the presence of God. But how do I get myself out of that moment? Not like we want to. It seems to be something we do. I was skiing this week. It was wonderful going below zero, cold. Just in case we don't get enough of it here. And I was at the top of this one run, and there was this guy who was moving pretty fast down the hill. And I thought, man, I could beat this guy down the hill. I got about a run and a half left before I have to turn on off the right to Haskell Slide. And so I jumped, and I started racing. I started catching up to him, feeling pretty good about myself. As I'm starting to catch him, I'm thinking, oh, right, it's going to happen. And I passed this guy. He doesn't even know he's racing. But, I know, if he knew he was racing, we'd probably still be going. But as I passed him, and I was saying, yeah, I am the champion. No, and I realized I skied right past my cutoff to Haskell Slide. Halfway up the mountain, I just totally was distracted by the competition I put myself in. That really wasn't a competition here. I had to go back to the bottom of the mountain and take 2 chairs back up so I could just make it over to Haskell Slide that I missed because I allowed myself to be distracted by a competition I wasn't really in, other than I put myself there in my life. And that's what we do with our distractions, is that we pull ourselves out of the present moment and put ourselves into a competition that isn't even there. All of a sudden I've got to be better than this or greater than that. And life says, hey, you should be this and you should be that. And it pulls me out of the present moment where I am able to know the truth of my being. Remember the story from the Bible? John the Baptist is out there, baptizing people, and they're like, wow, this is pretty cool stuff. And someone said, hey, are you the Christ? And he was quick saying, no, I am not the Messiah here. That's not me. So often we get caught up in thinking, I'd like to be this, and maybe people think I am that, but that's not who you are. There's an important lesson. It's not only important to know who you are, but to also know who you are not. I'm not the Messiah here. I'm doing my shtick, I'm doing my thing. This is what I have come here, and this is what puts me in the moment. If I am trying to be something I'm not, I am extrapolating myself from the present moment. No one's doing it to me. I am doing it myself. He was given his talent. The story of the talent from Matthew's? One guy was given 1 talent, someone else was given 2, someone else was given 5. Remember that one? I thought it was a pretty unfair deal. I thought, God, just give everyone 3 and call it good. But it didn't work that way. It worked that, some got 1, 2, and 5. But what happens if you're into this competition, the guy with the 2 wants to beat the guy with the 5. Now, that guy with his 5 talents has been given his thing, and you've got yours, and it doesn't mean there's any less truth in your 2 than his 5. But if you put yourself in the competition, I want to be the Messiah, I want to be, rather than, this is what I've been given. It's perfect. It's what I got. If I really stop to think about it, rather than complaining that I only got 2 talents, I realize that's 2 more talents I had than when I started. I got 2 more going on for me than I didn't have. So it's how I begin to have the relationship with the sacred in my life that allows me to be in the present moment, to be the recipient of the great download with the talent I've been given. David ascended to the throne not because he had 5 talents. He didn't get there because he was a great singer, a musician, a psalm writer, or a great leader. He got there because he could sling rocks pretty good. That was his 1 talent. What did he do all day? He sat out in the field when he was a teenager, watching his dad's sheep, just slinging rocks, boom, perfecting the 1 talent the guy had. He had that one down. He could do a slingshot, and it's all he needed to become the king. And so there's not a large talent and a small talent. There's as much truth in the one thing that you got going on. And so it's not in a competition that I'm not even supposed to be in here. It is my willingness to step into this life with what I have. If I want to be in the present moment, I got to be who I am. I'm only going to be second best of being somebody else. If I wasn't meant to be the Messiah and I was meant to be a rock slinger, then I'm going to be the best rock slinger I can be, which is enough, because these are the talents that I was given when I came here to work with. That's what tell him I'll call him back. And so as we begin to move into our talent and our experience of what it is we have, we begin to trust that something inside of us. We begin to be in the present moment where the healing takes place, and that takes place because I'm connecting with the truth of being, which is spirit expressing, and I begin to trust that. I begin to have faith in that. I begin to move with that and groove with that. Here's another Bible story. I must be on a roll today with them, but it comes to mind is the story of Abraham and Sarah. The 17th chapter of Genesis, where, God says to Abraham that Sarah is going to have a child who will be the King of Kings. Sarah's going to be, the mother of kings of people, of the kings of nations of people. And Sarah's listening to this. And you remember the story. She just cracks up. But doesn't God get it, man? I'm 90 years old, I have been barren my whole life. It's not really a high probability here, God. We've been trying. It's been fun, but it hasn't worked thus far. And it's not as if the desert is the most romantic of places. It's pretty hot out there. Nor are there fertility clinics out there either at that time, thousands of years ago. No medical procedures to assist this process. So when God says that you are going to be the mother of kings and the people of nations, she says, I got to help God out with this one. It's like, God may have something in mind, but I'm going to help here. And so she says, hey, Abraham, would you just sleep with my maid Hagar? You sleep with her and we'll see what happens. And, it's Bible stuff. So we won't talk whether that's okay or not. But it's like, and so Hagar delivers a child, Ishmael. And Sarah goes to God and says, man, you did it, God. Congratulations. This is fabulous. And God goes to Sarah, I didn't make the promise to happen outside of you. I promised that you are going to be the mother of nations, the mother of kings. The promise is in you, not outside you. And sure enough, at 90, she was impregnated and had a child by the name of Isaac. It's like, we begin to doubt the possibilities of God. With God, all things are possible. You are impregnated with the divine. You are impregnated with your destiny. You are impregnated with greatness. You are the one who's got to get yourself in the moment and out of the fear of the future. How's this going to happen? Or let go of the things you're holding on from the past as to why it didn't work, and just allow yourself to remove that from you, because you can't remove yourself from you. You ever notice that? You can divorce yourself from anybody. Some of you may have even tried that. But, you're never going to be able to divorce yourself from you. No, I'm going to say it again. Infinity. You're never going to be able to divorce yourself from yourself throughout eternity. So you might as well get good with yourself. Right here in this moment, realize I'm going to be traveling with this being, this essence, this spirit, this soul for quite some time. And I ask myself, here's an assignment for you this week, is to sit there and contemplate, am I good? Am I happy with who I'm being in life right now? Or is there something that could be cleaned up a little bit? I'm not going to answer that for you. That's your assignment. But if I got to be with me for eternity, am I happy with how I'm being? Or is there some stuff from the past that needs to be forgiven and let go of? Am I holding on to some dreams thinking God's not really going to be able to do this, so, maybe a little help here? No, I'm going to recognize that this moment is a sacred moment, and it is the divine, and I'm going to practice that. See, the difference between a neophyte or a beginner in this metaphysical stuff and the spiritual stuff is they're into theory. Yeah, I can do that. And the advanced part of this is the practice. is the application, putting it out there, stepping into it, knowing right where that greatest need is spirit. And that is the present moment I'm going to stand into courageously. I'm going to step into that which is holding its whatever over me. And I'm going to step into that sacred present moment and allow the healing presence of God to wash over me. This is how this works. Ernest Holmes, in his book, Living the Science of Mind, page 246, he says, we not only have to know that God is all that there is, but that is where the need is as well. So God is not only all that there is, but right where our need is, God is as well. Right there, in that place of need. We're the ones that got to recognize that if God can impregnate Sarah at 90, by all means, it can deal with my relationship. I just got to get in this present moment and get out of my head and my thinking. And perhaps just to walk around a lake helps you find the truth, at least for me. Or even going down the beach, just sitting there can help you remember the truth of your being. That as I step into that, the presence of God is. If you pick up a stone, I've been hanging out in the woods, so you got to stick with these analogies this week. But anyway, every stone has a story that's going to lead you back to the mountain. That's a good one. I like that one too. Every stone has the story that's going to lead you back to the mountain. Just like every soul has the story that's going to lead you home. It's going to lead you back to the presence of God. It's going to lead you to that sense of sacredness. Our home is returning to that place of sacredness and being in that present moment where you can feel the fullness and the presence of God, irrespective of what it is that we are facing. That we have inside of us something that is greater than any challenge that is being thrown at us in our life. But I've got to recognize these teachers that are available to me are everywhere. As I started, the flowers, the birds, the plants, cracks in the ground. I'm the one who has to be in the present moment to be able to be teachable. I'm the one who's got to realize. I was walking down the driveway the other night, below zero, snow, the silence of it all, and looking up into the heavens and seeing the pulsing stars and the planets. I couldn't help but to feel a peace in the present moment with all of it. It's just, and in that peace, there's like a healing that goes on. Everything else just drops away. There isn't room for the dreams, how's that going to happen, or the fear of what was. It's just in that pulsating, the peace. Shoveling snow, that is a good way to feel connected with the Mother Earth. It is a way in which, I begin to feel one, with this planet. Talking to an elder as they're preparing for their death. Sometimes it just opens myself to my lessons and insights I didn't even know that I needed. That all of a sudden are activated if I allow myself to be present in the moment for a healing of something that I didn't even know was what was in the way. But my head's trying to figure it out. But no, the spirit that the human life is around begins to feel and hear and see. Teachers, taking a look at trees in the wintertime is a profound lesson in letting go. They just let all their leaves go. And what I recognize about renewal is that sometimes it's about letting go of that which is no longer serving us, that which I no longer know, so I can get back into that flow. Our soul is like this open vessel that's moving on the currents of life here. Kind of like a canoe. If you ever guys, you canoe in the river, the stream, there's a current. It just carries you down the stream. Occasionally you got to stick the paddle in. Steer it to the right, steer it to the left. But you're moving down. And if, the canoe on its own kind of drifts off over to the side, goes into the eddy, kind of gets stuck, goes into the, to the reeds or the weeds or into the trees, you don't say, oh, this is all wrong. This is evil. This is bad. No, it's a canoe being a canoe. That's what canoes do. And here we are in our humanness going down the stream. And occasionally, we got to use our faith to move us to the left, to stay in the current. Faith to paddle in the stream to move us in the right. And occasionally we might run amok into the weeds and the challenges, the difficulties we have on the shore. And we got to be good with our judgment, not say, oh, this is wrong. This is evil. This is bad. No, we got to get the judgment off ourselves and off other people and realize this is just part of being human. These are the things that happen as we do this thing called life. And all I've got to do is get myself back into the sacredness of this moment, this present moment, to experience the healing, the transition, the transformation that is always available because it is omnipresent, which means in the midst of whatever that challenge might be, the fullness of opportunity and the presence of God, the profound teaching experience for our soul lessons is ever available. But I got to get my head out of it and allow my spirit to be present. You've got to begin to be present for it to happen in your life. Not thinking I'm present. No, that's the beginning stages. No, I've got to allow myself to experience what is. What is not lacking the fullness of the presence of God because it is omnipresent and fully present there. And so as I allow myself to be there in the midst of that, healing is available, transformation is available, and I can be that place where spirit is having its way. But when that difficulty arises, we're often quick to label it as a problem. And when the problem is... when it's labeled problem, it's like there's this quick movement that I'm inferior than this. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I'm inferior, which means it's going to be grueling, it's going to be rough, it's going to be debilitating, it's going to be exhausting, haunting, humiliating, expensive, long drawn. Well, who knows? It can be a combination of any of those things. Once we have labeled it, and we've got those kind of concepts, and the combination, then when this clicks in, is this sense of, this is the evidence. It was inevitable. It's just this always happens. Or you take it personally. Look at it's happening to me again. Woe is me. I'm going to grin and bear it. And as we allow these emotions in, we will that problem that was just a difficult thing passing through our experience. And all of a sudden, hey, you're mine like family. Hey, let me talk about you. Let me love you up some more. Experience you. Stay awake thinking about you. And just be passionately obsessed by your presence in my life. It's like the bear that came into the camp. The bear and the pot of beans. The bear comes wandering in the camp at night. Everybody's sitting around the campfire. Bear, they clear out. They leave the pot of beans over the fire pit. And the bear goes, oh yeah, man, fresh dinner. He grabs the pot of beans, which is hot, and it's burning his claws. And rather than dropping it, what does he do? He thinks he can kill it by squeezing it even more, and burns even more, and hurts him even more. That's what we do once we label our problems and embrace them and believe that they're ours. It's like, why? So Roger Teel, everybody knows, coming here Thursday night. Very exciting. There's no cost. Usually when we do these big speakers, we charge you a lot. But because anyway, he's going to be here. This is where you want to be. You want to bring your friends. You've got, the young, new, vibrant Nicole. You got the wise one and Roger Teel. Anyway, his book, This Life is Joy. And, hey, Roger, we love you. This is his last Sunday on a pulpit. They're celebrating him today. So, anyway, so this is what he wrote about, dealing with problems. He said, what we believe becomes an invitation for manifestation. In the midst of a problem, believe in the possibilities inherent within this problem, even if you have no ideas initially what those answers might be. You're disengaging your vital energies from an attack on the problem and making yourself available to guidance, inspiration, innovation, and serendipity. You are moving from reactivity to a higher order of creativity. This doesn't mean that you do not do anything or seize any and all action steps that might be necessary or appropriate for the situation. You do what you have to do at the level of the immediate needs, but you don't get stuck at that level. More important, you take the interaction to free your vast creative resources as a being of light to become a conduit for the miracles of greater good. You do what you can do, but you don't continue to put your energy into fighting that. You make yourself available in the sacredness of the moment to the presence of God for the shift and the healing and the greater possibility. You don't try to tell God that I'm 90 years old and I can't conceive. You say, thank you, Spirit, and figure it out. It's like when we are looking at the dynamics in our world, whatever comes our way, if you want to be a success, you've got to face and deal with whatever challenge comes your way, not just the ones you like to deal with. This one I can handle, this one. No, you want to be a success, you've got to be willing to step into that. You've got to be willing to embrace that. You've got to know that you have what it takes to be able to move in that direction. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, book writer, he said, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. It's like, and Aldous Huxley said, only experience can only teach those who are teachable. Got that? Experience can only teach those that are teachable. You got that? You gotta be open to the new possibilities. It doesn't matter what point you are in your life. Roger, one of the jokes he shares, I hope he's not going to share it on Thursday. If he did, pretend like you heard it for the first time. But he tells the story of this spinster. And, she had pretty much been alone, never went on any dates, never been kissed kind of thing. And she had kind of saved. And so she was speaking to her lawyer about the distribution of her will for when she dies. And she, shared, this nephew, whoever gets the money. And she said, in regards to my funeral, I don't want any male pallbearers. They didn't take me out while I was alive. I don't want them taking me out after I die. Yep. She was in charge, man, even after the grave. How much fun are we going to have with this thing called life? How available are we going to allow ourselves to be to that, with that presence, that oneness? All the mystics talk about oneness. I mean, that is the ultimate. It's the returning back into that flow. The Taoist, Lao Tzu, talked about the way. The Native Americans talk about Wonka Tonka, or the Great Spirit. Jung talked about the unconscious. Others talk about the Holy Spirit. Buddhists talk about the Dharmakaya, which is that essence and from which the Buddha rose and returned. This is the life of all things. Now, oneness is about returning back to that. That is what the mystics talk about. And it can only be done in the present moment. It's not about theory of something that could happen out there, and it's not about what took place back there. Sometimes you got to be willing to step into the place of just trusting this moment and realize my teacher here, and what is stirring inside of me is my soul's curriculum. Somehow I signed up for it. I assure you, consciously, I don't remember this experience being on my lesson plan, but you know what? This is where I find myself right now, and rather than giving my power away to that which is outside, I'm going to return home to the present moment where the healing takes place and the realignment and the renewing happens, because I'm willing to let go of what I'm holding on to that is blocking that flow into my life. I'm going to return to a place of peace where I absolutely know the presence of God in the fullness. I don't need to walk under the star pulsing sky to have it push everything out of my being. I can do that right where I am, right here, right now, because there's no place that God is not, and the fullness is here as anywhere else. And I'm the one who's got to recognize the teachers that are reaching out to me in this moment and say, Christian, have you looked at it like this? And I go, no way. Get down to the beach. And think about that. Feel that. Sense that. Have this writing from Native American Black Elk. He spoke about the peace. He said, peace comes within the souls of beings when they realize their relationship, their oneness with the universe and all its powers. And when they realize that at the center of the universe dwells the Great Spirit, and that this center is really everywhere. And it's within each and every one of us. Center is everywhere, circumference nowhere. I think it was Augustine who said that. That's when you begin to feel peace in the midst of your growing experiences. Wayne Dyer said, give up your grudges and practice forgiveness if you want to experience peace in all your relationships. That kind of puts you back in the moment, doesn't it? Yeah. Give up the grudges. and practice peace in the midst of all your relations. Virginia Woolf, she said, you can't experience peace by avoiding life. You know anybody that you might, when a conflict comes up, they just kind of withdraw into their shell? It's like, yeah, not you, good. But, sometimes when the challenge, I'm just going to retreat here and just avoid. That's different than finding peace in the moment and just being present for what is. Putting up this avoidance shell that it isn't where it's at. What you want to do is begin to say, what can I do here? How can I risk myself? You want to experience the moment. I'll tell you what, how has your heart risked lately? How is your heart going to risk today? What is it that you can do that brings you back into the present moment? One of the things is allow yourself to be truthful. Another thing is to allow yourself to be authentic. Another thing is to allow yourself to feel, to sense, to express kindness, to receive kindness, to be willing to forgive, to let go of the past, to let go of your expectations on how I'm going to be able to birth this idea even when it seems inconceivable and everything seems barren in my life. I know that with Spirit all things are possible, and what I need to do to allow this to happen and to allow myself to be more in the present is to step into the circulation, to put the kindness and the love and the good out there. And it is a circuit, right? The circulation circuit means it comes back to where it started. So if what is coming from you is the kindness, is the love, is the caring, is the forgiveness, is the patience, is the peace, is the passion. This is the circulation. This is the circuit that you find yourself in the present moment that is risking your heart because you don't know the outcome. But if all you're doing is playing in the divine, then all you can be is the recipient of the divine download. So God bless us as we step into this present moment and experience the fullness of God. Love you. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring back Ray Davis. Woo!
So I get to present something that I love. This is a song that was written by James Taylor. It's called The Secret o' Life. Secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it. There ain't nothing to it. Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. Since we're on our way down, might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is in opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause everyone knows that love is the only rule. Since we're only here for a while, you might as well show some style. Give us a smile, isn't it a lovely ride? Oh, I'm sliding down, I'm gliding down. Try not to try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. The thing about time is that time isn't really real. Just your point of view. Tell me, how does it feel for you? Einstein said he could never understand it all. planet spinning through space. That smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? Oh, I'm sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Come on, Bob. Yeah, yeah, try too hard, it's just a lovely ride. Oh, the secret of life is